Okay, welcome guys. Today we're gonna talk about the Odin Project full stack web development curriculum, what it offers, what it's about, what can you gain from it. Okay, so the Odin Project's full stack JavaScript curriculum is a free open source program designed to teach you web development from the ground. It follows a project-based approach, emphasizing hands-on learning and building a strong portfolio. So it covers comprehensively range of technologies from CSS, JavaScript, HTML, React, Node.js, Express, and databases. What are its strengths? It's a project-based learning, focuses on building real-world projects. This helps you solidify your understanding and create portfolio-worthy projects at the end of the curriculum. It also has a very strong community uh, through its Discord. They tend to be very helpful. Um, Whenever you're stuck, you can always refer back to help, and they constantly update the curriculum, so they're up to date with modern web development principles. What do I like about the Odin project? It's very hands-on. They hold your hand for the first few lessons, and then it's you have to figure it out. So not necessarily that there's anything new to figure out. You are given all the resources. So the format is you're provided with some formal explanation, and then external links to guide you through, and then you kind of figure it out and put the pieces together. This is a very great approach, in my opinion, because that's the real world, right? You're training for actual application in the real world. It teaches you to how to Google, how to find what you're looking for to make your project work, right? So I think that's a very essential skill. So there's no guaranteed job placement, which of course, regardless of the path you take, college, whatever you do, there is really no guarantee to job placement, and you kind of have to figure things out. Um, what about some people don't take self-paced learning very well, and it's a reading approach. There are some videos here and there, but you have to read a lot, and um, these days people don't like to read. It's not their strong suit. But if that is not a problem to you and you really want to learn, I think you you have you got this. So they offer a foundations course which takes you through the basics of web development, and then you get into choosing a path. There's a full stack Ruby on Rails path, which covers Ruby and Ruby on Rails. It has 8 courses. Let's explore this real quick. There's Ruby. Um, then you learn about HTML, CSS, databases, and Ruby on Rails. I think that's the main difference between the JavaScript course. It has 8, and this one has 7, where there's Ruby and Ruby on Rails here, whereas you find Node.js in this curriculum instead, in place of Ruby and Ruby on Rails. So let's start with the foundations. So in the foundations, you break down how the course works, introduction, mindset, joining the community, asking for help. And then you start with basics. What is a computer? How does the web work? Installation overview. So they have you install everything beforehand. Text editors, and then you learn about the command line. So the Odin project is heavy on Linux. Uh, they really recommend you to use Linux. If you don't use Linux, of course they kind of walk you through how to set up Windows subsystem for Linux on Windows, and of course you can still get the Bash on Mac. So you set up your Git. They teach you about Git, committing and saving your work history. That is Actually very good. I actually like that about it. And then introduction, you start with HTML, the basics, which is like the skeleton, the words. You learn about elements, tags, boilerplate, working with texts, lists, images, and you start with your first project, recipes, which is just putting all this together to create a simple recipe project. So you start touch up on a little bit of CSS, introduction to CSS, cascades, inspecting. So you start learning about developer tools here. You learn about the box model, block, inline. You know about Flexbox, which is a very useful tool in CSS for arranging components on your web page. And you go on to the next project, which is a landing page. So this is very good, very solid basics. And you come to JavaScript, which is really the meat of the curriculum. Install Node.js, variables, data types, more developer tools for JavaScript, functions, problem solving. They want to like teach you the mentality you need to have when solving problems, and this is the approach they take. So understanding errors, which is pretty much like 90% of the work, is understanding where you went wrong in your code. So it's a very good skill to learn early. You start with a project, rock, paper, scissors, clean code, arrays, loops, DOM, manipulation, revisit to, this is a lesson about Git, creating, uh, it's about Git and creating, let me open. So branching, basically, it's about branching. Create a branch and, you can adjust your project. It's a lesson on Git mostly. Yeah, so you then move on to building Etch-a-Sketch projects, learn about objects, and then do a calculator project. These projects are they definitely test you, especially at the beginning. You really have to apply yourself, look through external resources. It's very, very useful. Okay, so now that you're done there, I'm going to talk about the full stack JavaScript, because most people prefer to learn through JavaScript, and the main benefit of going to the full stack JavaScript course is uh, everything is in JavaScript. So once you learn JavaScript, you can learn React, which is the front end, and Node.js with Express, which is the back end. Okay, so you start out with a little bit of intermediate HTML and CSS. You learn about emmet, shortcuts, tables, more CSS, positioning, selectors, forms, very important. Most websites you come across has some form you have to fill. And learn about grid, which is an alternative to use instead of Flexbox. Then you build projects along the way. So there's an admin dashboard, sign up form. Yeah, you learn about a couple of things in here. This is the meat of the course, of the curriculum, if I do say so myself. So in here, you actually learn principles, organizing your code, um, classes. This is object-oriented programming, ES6 modules. You learn about Webpack and how to bundle your code. Very useful. You start building out a restaurant project, to-do lists. I think this is a very important. Uh, Many people struggle with the tic-tac-toe. I think the logic in here is very tricky and therefore requires a lot of brain power. But yeah, it's very doable. Learn about linting, form validation with JavaScript. You learn about asynchronous code, and then you learn about CSS principles or CS principles. You learn about data structures and algorithms. Very important. We'll start with recursion, and then you learn about time complexities, space complexities, which is the big O notation. You learn about linked lists, data structures, hash maps, binary trees. Okay, so this is basically everything you're going to have to go through for your interviews. Mostly you need to know these in order to pass, because you need to learn how to scale. If you're working with for smaller apps, it's definitely not that much of a big deal. But if you get into an organization that has large code bases, you find that optimization, saving up on memory space, that becomes a very huge deal. So it's a very huge part of interviewing. You get it deeper into Git, start learning about remotes, start learning about a few advanced features, which is really good. And then testing. You do know how to test your code. Some of these companies require you to know how to test your code, and they have a test-driven approach to writing code, and you're going to have to write tests before you write your code. Advanced CSS, this is where you learn about things like transformations, transitions, keyframes, web accessibility, all that good stuff. Media queries, this is a responsive web design. It's very important to have, to be able to create a web page like this and a mobile based page. And then you get into React. This is a front end library where makes life a whole lot easier when you've been using DOM manipulation for JavaScript a lot. This basically, you know about JSX, which combines HTML and JavaScript. This is the basic kind of sub language that you use for React. You learn about state, dealing with side effects, components, React testing, very important, routing, yeah, state management. And you conclude basically that's a React curriculum. Databases, you need to know how to store your data, right? So you learn about databases and SQL. So you use SQL in this curriculum. So yeah, basically that's what we're looking at in here. And then Node.js, what is in here? Let's take a look. So introduction to back-end development. This is where you actually get into the intricacies of the back-end, debugging, setting up your environment. Okay, then you get into Express, which is the framework that you use for Node.js for the JavaScript route. So learn about routes, controllers, deployment, installing PostgreSQL, using it, authentication, and ORMs, API security, testing Express. Testing is very important and emphasized, and you do your full stack projects. So these projects take everything you've covered, put them in one place. And final project, the Odin book, which is basically a clone of your favorite app. And then the final section is called Getting Hired, which walks you through things like networking strategy, what companies want, collecting job leads, qualifying. It basically walks you through the entire process from scratch, all the way to what you need to do to get hired, if interviewing and preparing, which takes you to various links now to like learn about lead code and yeah. So I think it's a very comprehensive course. So my final take is the Odin Project is an excellent resource for aspiring web developers who are motivated and self-driven. It provides a solid foundation in full stack development and prepares you to build like impressive web apps with no hand holding. So you're getting into the industry. By the time you're done with the curriculum, you're quite confident with your skill to build real web apps. While it requires significant self-discipline. So that's the thing, you have to want it. You have to really want it to be able to take advantage of the curriculum. You need to have self-discipline, pace yourself, and the best part is you can work, you can do other things while taking the course. It's self-paced, very it's up to you how fast you want to get it. So about time frame. So most people want to find out how quickly you can get through the course, right? Realistically speaking, this is not learning takes time. Processing this information takes a lot of time, and you're not going to get this over with and job ready in, let's say, the 3, 4, 5 months. Let's say a minimum of 6 months for like the really gifted. Obviously, there's some exceptions. There's some people who are like super brilliant, can get through it and like ace everything. But a realistic time frame is, I would say, 1 year of learning should get you a solid understanding, and you could probably finish the course in a year's time and be able to apply and seek like employment within this career and confident enough in your skill to get the job. So that's my take on the Odin project. So yeah, tell me what you think. Comment, like, subscribe. Peace.